Oh, Bold and the Beautiful just keeps on dropping. It's all the way to number 9 in my soap opera rankings for April 2022, dropping yet another spot. It was an 8th place in March, I believe. Now it's in 9th, and how could it not be? Because I've already talked about some of this a couple of weeks ago on a soap opera diagnosis video that, like, we just might as well talk about the main thing because it's basically the only storyline. Let's be real. All the B, C storylines barely got any time in April per usual. It's all been about the same storyline. Well, the show decided to kill off Finn. I've already touched upon this. And I've also already said how Finn was kind of not this big character because they weren't even writing for him a lot over the past several months. But the pairing between Steffi and Finn worked, and there was some popularity behind it. And so, them killing off Finn did a lot of different bad things for this show, because one, Sheila's of course been one of the only interesting parts of the show, even though they've made her villainous ways be pretty fucking stupid. I talked about this already, but all she has done is change a non-alcoholic bottle into an alcoholic bottle. Like this is supposed to be some really awful deed when Brooke's not even really an alcoholic, if we're being honest. So Sheila only did that, but then has to go so far as to kill her son so that nobody could find out that that's what she did. Pretty big leap there. I just think Brad Bell, well, he obviously doesn't know how to write. He lost how to write a long time ago. Brad Bell just gets some plots in his head and then moves storylines at whiplash speed to get to those plots that he has in his head. And then he gets bored of that plot and then wants to move on to whatever next plot. I don't understand his writing at all. I mean, obviously it's very plot heavy, but there's no like even rhyme or reason for some of the shit he does. Like, he will start a storyline only to drop it quickly. Like, we see him picking back up a bit on Carter and Quinn because obviously maybe he got the memo that the Carter and Paris shit isn't working, so he needs to go back to Carter and Quinn because that was working, but then he dropped it off the face of the planet for fucking the last 4 or 5 months. But now he wants to come back to that. Maybe because it was popular. I don't know. I don't know what goes through this guy's head. I really don't. Like, in theory, he has some decent ideas, but he doesn't want to do the work to put those stories out there. It's like lazy writing, I guess. I don't know how really to explain Brad Bell's writing. I think it's just lazy writing. Because you could have good ideas, but you got to put in the work to get there, and none of these American soap opera writers want to do that anymore. Clearly, they are all towards the bottom of my rankings for a reason, because they just don't compare to the soap operas in other countries right now. And it's not like some of these soap operas in other countries are really kicking ass other than the number 1 spot that's been kicking ass for a year and a half now. But the worst thing of all is the fact that they kill off Finn, and Steffi can't remember anything, of course. So they have to digress her character to think she's still married to Liam. And everybody feels the same way about this triangle, right? Nobody likes this fucking triangle. I've never liked this triangle. The Steffi, Liam, Hope's triangle is the reason, in my opinion, Bold and the Beautiful was the absolute worst soap opera of the 2010s. Bold and the Beautiful was the worst soap opera of the 2010s because of this redundant triangle that would never end. And yes, they would switch it up sometimes and throw in other characters, but it always came back to this triangle. But we're still doing that. In 2022, we're still coming back to this triangle that everybody is sick of. And I guess it got popular in the 2010s. I don't know how. I thought it sucked. I think the character of Liam just sucks the life out of both Hope and Steffi. So I don't know how that triangle was ever entertaining in the first place. But they seem to be going back to it, at least for now. Because Liam has to pretend that he's still married to Steffi, and Steffi thinks she's married to Liam. Now, I saw something that maybe this is ending soon, I hope. At least this part of it, that Steffi thinks she's married to Liam. I'm recording this before all the episodes of April are done airing for Bold and the Beautiful. So I don't know exactly how this month ended while I'm recording this. But I do know that them even hinting at going back at this triangle from hell makes me not want to watch the show. Because that triangle, there's no point in watching it. But unlike Days and General Hospital, who I'm going to talk shit about, their ratings in the TV ratings, Bold and the Beautiful's ratings are healthy, if we're being honest. They don't really lose ratings consistently like Days of Our Lives and General Hospital. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because this show's only a half hour, so it's easier viewing to catch it. I don't know. Because I don't think... Look, I enjoyed parts of The Fall, for sure. Bold and Beautiful can be entertaining, so I can see why people watch it. But, I saw all this backlash on social media about them killing off Finn and how people were going to stop watching, but the ratings went up for Sheila's fiasco-ness. So, social media is not always real life, and most of the time, social media is not real life. So, Bold and Beautiful was able to go up in the viewers for most of April, rather than lose ratings. So their trash television works, I guess. But it's not working for me in my rankings. We got some really dramatic shit, which I kind of appreciate, because some of these other soap operas at the bottom don't give enough drama, which is a pretty big problem. I kind of enjoyed that we got Sheila contemplating killing herself. I mean, she killed her son. So why wouldn't she feel that terrible to want to jump off a building? And we got some drama out of that with Taylor trying to save her, but then Taylor falling off the side of the building and Sheila having to save her. I mean, an odd way to try and make Taylor feel even more sorry and grateful for Sheila, but I guess they had to try something. But when it all comes out that Sheila killed her own son, there's just no redeeming Sheila at that point. I mean, I don't know why they had to go this far with the character of Sheila to kill off her own son, only to keep the fact that she changed the non-alcoholic bottle to alcohol. Like, far lesser villains have done a lot worse in soap operas over the years. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was supposed to be the big twist Bold and the Beautiful was hyping up, or if we'll still get a twist. I feel like some people are still clinging on that maybe the last couple of years were just a dream, which I think would be even worse. Because I don't know. I don't know what to even make of the Bold and the Beautiful. Brad Bell needs some ADD medicine, because he clearly has ADD with his writing a lot of times. Also, we had Bridget come back out of the blue, which I think is great and a good way they could play her into the Deacon side of this story. I hope they go there with that. Perhaps Finn is still alive. Like I talked about in my last Bold and the Beautiful video about Finn's death, that Lee was talking like he was still alive. So they kind of left that open-ended. Other than that, I don't know if there's a whole lot to talk about with Paris, Zende, and Carter. What a shit show they've made out of this triangle. And I'm glad they revisited Carter and Quinn, because that actually worked, because they actually have chemistry. All in all, April was off the wall. We got a lot of drama, which I appreciate it, but I can't give credit to bad writing. And Brad Bell did a lot of bad writing for the month of April, just going way over the top and writing characters into corners. And the fact that he's even teasing going back to the Hope, Liam, Steffi triangle is bad. That better not be May sweeps. This triangle better not be May sweeps. Or maybe Days of Our Lives will actually have a contender for last place. Probably not, because Days is terrible. But maybe. If the triangle is what we have to endure for May sweeps, for Bold and the Beautiful, God, I don't even know if I could get through that.